Hello, everybody. Zach Goodyear here. Just wanted to give you another Mindset Monday. Today, I wanted to talk about contempt. There's a lot of research about contempt, primarily with regard to relationship and marriages. This guy named Dr. John Gottman. He's a researcher and an author of a book called The Seven Principles for Making a Marriage Work. And one of his famous research projects actually predicted with a 93% accuracy, I believe, that couples would get divorced. So he was able to predict who would get divorced just by watching them interact. So, what is contempt? Simply put, it's a superiority complex. It's feeling smarter than, better than, or more sensitive than your significant other or client for that matter. It's often a dangerous mix of anger and disgust. And it's far more toxic than simple frustration or negativity. It involves seeing your counterpart as beneath you rather than as an equal. Contempt is so dangerous it can even Gottman's researchers noted that it was found to have long-term health consequences and negative health effects. So when contempt takes over, I think it means you're only obviously not less you're less likely to see your counterpart's opinions as valid. You're also not willing to put yourself in his or her shoes and be able to see a situation from his or her perspective. If you watched last week's Mindset Monday, we talked about crucial conversations, and if you recall, we talked about the importance of creating a safe space. That allowed us to work together to find a shared pool of meaning and to be able to move past any challenging situations, find that shared pool of meaning, and move forward. Dr. Gottman's research has some similar conclusions with that. So you might ask, Zach, why are we talking about marriage therapy in Mindset Monday? Because I also think it can be useful for our clients. I sometimes joke that realtors, we're half house hunters and half therapists, right? So what we do for a living, it involves significant management of the emotional needs of our clients, really in one of the most stressful events that they will typically go through. I was doing a little research, and on several different lists I found only superseded by death of a loved one and divorce, moving was the third most stressful event that most Americans deal with. So that's our job on a daily basis, is to deal with this high stress, high emotion activity. And so we need to be better equipped at handling that and handling it in a way that obviously produces results, but also makes our clients feel good. And obviously when people have a good experience, what does that lead to, right? More business, more referrals, and more success for you in the end. So what happens when our daily jobs, by their very nature, involve putting our clients into stressful situations? Well, tense moments, strained conversations, and a lot of that can, when left unchecked, it can lead to resentment. And then when resentment goes unchecked, that can turn into contempt. Obviously, every now and then we're at odds with our clients, right? We're feeling like sometimes they can tell us how to do our jobs, and we tell ourselves a story. If you remember last week, we've talked about that story that you tell yourselves, right? We tell ourselves a story about what they're meaning when they speak with us with emotion, and we're not careful, we react emotionally. And then that downward spiral begins. So just like a legal marriage, we're in a contractual relationship, and it's our job to prevent things from going to that place. So Gottman's research talks about the many negative effects of contempt, but he also discusses some ways to correct it. So I wanted to give you three of those ways. There's several different ways, but I just picked three that I think are helpful that you might be able to implement this week. So one, if you find yourself in a relationship that's showing signs of contempt, try these three things. One, get to know your clients better, right? Show genuine interest in them, not just their situation or transaction, right? Really dig deep to understand the why of what they're doing, not just what they want, right? We talked about that a lot. You don't just find a client a 3-bedroom house or a 4-bedroom house. Why do they need that, right? What are they going to use those for? How is their life situation set up so that those provide a solution to whatever problems they might have? So if you can understand what drives their decisions and maybe what may influence their decisions and philosophies, you'll be a better guide for them, right? Number two, try taking their side and being open to letting them influence you, right? So we're ashamed often sometimes when our clients present a good idea. We're like, well, hold on. I'm the professional here. You hired me, if you recall. Yeah. So I'm just going to tell you how this works, right? So we're hired as the professional, but then they come up with a good idea, and we can feel inferior, we can feel overrun, we can tell ourselves a story about how our clients are know-it-alls, how they're just trying to do our job, right? In reality, a cooperative, collaborative approach where agents work together with their clients, that often leads to much more successful solutions than even the smartest agent or most experienced agent trying to take the reins themselves and just run with it without influence from their client. Number three, try adopting a we against others attitude. So Gottman talks about this. And he says, by feeling like we're supposed to have all the answers, we can inadvertently tell our clients that they are wrong, either through our words or by, body language. Sometimes when my wife points out that I roll my eyes, and I say, I didn't roll my eyes. She said, you did it again. I'm like, I didn't. Really? She goes, yeah, you did it again. So be careful with body language. Obviously, that can leave them feeling alone, and that can lead to resentment for us not doing what they hired us to do, which is ultimately to represent their best interests, right? So if we can show them that we're on their side, even if you have to match their anger. Sometimes if you've got a client who's just filled with rage and filled with anger, and it doesn't make any sense, if you say, calm down, okay, can everybody just calm down? Have you tried that before? You tried it with kids? It doesn't work, right? Sometimes you have to match their anger and say, you know what? Man, that offer was really bad. It's gotten me fired up. I actually need to go cool off for a minute because you're right. You have every reason to be mad. I'm pretty ticked off too. But I tell you what, let's all take a breather and let's talk through kind of how we should respond to this. We're both pretty angry right now. Maybe we shouldn't make a decision, but let's find a path where we can get to a place where we can make a decision. I'm committed to working through that with you, if you're willing to do that with me. If you can do that, if you can match them where they are and help bring them down with you, a lot of times they're going to feel appreciated, supported, and loved, and they're going to feel respected and taken care of by you. What does that lead to? Trust, right? So that turns into trust. That makes relationships stronger, and that creates a far different scenario than resentment and contempt. If you take a ninja, you've heard many, many times, you as the agent, you control the process, and your clients control the what? The decisions, right? So you control the process, your clients control the decisions. Remember, if you can create a safe space during those conversations, back from that Crucial Conversations book, remember the safe space. If you can be proactive about having those conversations, making them safe, talking about your shared goals, or your, as that book calls, your shared pool of meaning. If you can practice saying yes to them, right? So being willing to listen to them and saying, yeah, that's actually a really good idea. I like that. Be open to being influenced by them, and just being able to better understand what they're really wanting, even if it's not what the words they're saying are saying. Understanding what they're really wanting, I think you'll find a lot more success. So ultimately, contempt is the opposite of respect, right? So with that in mind, I'm going to challenge you this week to proactively practice respect with those around you. I bet that if you do that, you're going to find that you'll have an easier time in your communication. And when those communications are with your clients, you just might help make one of life's most stressful events just a little bit easier for everybody, including you. Thanks for watching.